Alright, what's up? What's going on, guys? Captain Monk here. This is going to be the first episode of my new series called Rebalancing, and in this series we're going to be rebalancing basically perks, weapons, and kill streaks and all that stuff. So in this first episode here, we're going to be taking a look at the perk tier 1. So first we're going to look at basically all the perks and their abilities and stuff like that. So for sleight of hand, the regular ability is reload your weapon 50% faster than normal, and the pro ability is to pick up and swap weapons 50% faster than normal. Next, we've got what's it called? Recon. Now, Recon is a really underrated perk because, well, to be honest, a lot of people don't really know how it works, and it took quite a bit of myself using it to actually figure out how it works. But basically, what this perk does is, with the regular ability, if I stun, grenade, or anything that involves explosions, that could be like stun grenades, flash grenades, or that could be like an RPG or grenade launcher. It could be anything that's explosive, damages an enemy. That person will basically they'll be blackbirded for about 10 seconds. With dead silence, it only lasts for 5, but still. But basically what that means when I say blackbirded is, if you play Black Ops, you know exactly what I mean. What a blackbird was basically you knew exactly where they were and where they were facing, because there'd be a little bit of an arrow, as you can see here in the description. Every enemy that takes explosive damage is marked as a red arrow on the radar, and you know exactly where this guy is and where he's facing for 10 seconds. So that's a pretty good thing. And then with the pro ability, it's the same as before with the explosive, except for it's achieved by causing bullet damage to the enemy. So that's a pretty good perk, but personally I find it's only really effective when you're using it in something like search and destroy. So whereas sleight of hand is better than like a rush game mode. So when people first prestige or get the game, they usually more like to use sleight of hand. So Recon's really overlooked. The second perk here we have is Blind Eye. Now Blind Eye, the regular ability for Blind Eye is you're basically undetectable by air support and sentries, so they cannot see you, and you just run around that he cannot detect you. And the pro ability is faster launcher lock-on, which basically is what it says. It allows you to lock on with your grenade, not really grenade launchers, but like rocket launchers and stuff faster, and extra bullet damage versus enemy air support, which basically, if you want to use a light machine gun because you're out of rockets, you can just shoot it down with that. It would be a lot faster and more effective. Then we've got Extreme Conditioning. Extreme Conditioning, the regular ability, allows you to sprint 2 times longer. Now that basically allows players to get around the map. Like, if for example, if you want to rush, you could rush out of your spawn and get to the enemy spawn and get right in their face, and they won't be expecting it with Extreme Conditioning. And the pro ability is climb obstacles faster, which basically is what I've said here. It's climb obstacles faster, allows you to climb like ledges and stuff faster, allows you to I'm pretty sure that's it, just ledges. I can't think of anything else right off the top of my head. Maybe climb onto cars or something if you really want to. And then the last one we have here is Scavenger. Now Scavenger, the regular ability, replenishes your ammunition when you walk over scavenger bags that are dropped by players when they die. So if you don't already know, when you run Scavenger, everyone that dies around you, not besides yourself, actually I don't know if yourself counts, well I don't know, regardless, anyone who dies around you will drop a scavenger bag. No one else can see these bags unless they have scavenger themselves. But with these bags, you can resupply 1 clip of your primary weapon, 1 clip of your secondary, and that's about it. And then the pro ability is extra starting magazines. You'll start with a ton of ammo, and if you run out, or if you start losing some of your ammo, like if you're not full, you'll resupply it again with the regular ability. So that's pretty much it. Now here on screen, you have my list here again with all the perks. And you see a bit of a check mark or an X. Now, what these represent is which ones I think are balanced. Now, some of them are, the ones with X's, sometimes in later episodes that may mean it's overpowered, but in this episode, they all are underpowered. The Recon, Extreme Conditioning, and Scavenger, I believe, are all underpowered. Now, that's just my opinion. If you guys disagree, click off the video because you're not going to be liking this much, but it is what it is, in my opinion anyways. So sleight of hand, I think it's balanced. I don't think they need to change anything. I think it's just fine the way it is. Blind Eye is just fine on the way it is, but I think they need to fix Recon, Extreme Conditioning, and Scavenger, because the only perks I ever see in respawn game modes is Sleight of Hand and Blind Eye. Sleight of Hand is what everyone uses 24/7, and they switch their Blind Eye class to shoot down air support, which is the way it should be and shouldn't be changed. So we're going to look at basically what I think they should do to make it so people would like to use Recon, Extreme Conditioning, and Scavenger, because I want to basically, the goal of this video is to basically achieve that everyone uses these perks equally, and that these perks are equally as common seen by other players. That's the goal of this. So the first one we're going to look at here is Recon. Now, what I think they should adjust with this is the regular ability should basically be the pro and the regular of the what it is in the game combined. So every enemy that takes damage is marked as a red arrow on the radar. Now that doesn't count with the kill streaks and stuff like that. But if you damage them with your primary, with your grenades, with your bullets, whatever, as long as they're damaged, they'll show up. That's what I want to do with that. If you get calling a predator and you get a hit marker, that won't work. But with your gun, like no kill streaks. The pro ability, now this is where it gets really interesting, and I think this would really help out because this would basically make it so people would use this perk in respawn game modes, not just search and destroy. But the pro ability that I had in mind was ability to see players running assassin on UAVs and counter UAVs, or not counter UAVs, sorry, advanced UAVs. Now what this would do is, for example, let's say I have Recon Pro on, but no one else on my team does, and my teammate calls in a UAV. I can now see every player on their team use an assassin, but none of my teammates can, so it wouldn't be overpowered, but I can see the assassin players as well as the other guys, of course. So I think that'd be a really good perk because this would basically encourage people to use this and kind of diminish the assassin problem with this game, because assassin is really overused and overpowered, and I'll probably be featuring the perk 2, and I'll be talking about that in my next video where I rebalance perks and stuff. But I think that definitely needs to be addressed, and this is one way they could definitely address it, is by making it so that people with Recon Pro can now see people with assassin on UAVs and counter, I gotta stop saying counter, advanced UAVs. So I think that'd be a real good fix to Recon, and a lot of people will use it then. The next one we have here is extreme conditioning. Now the regular ability I've got here is allows you to sprint 2 times longer. Now that's the same thing as before in the game, but what I've changed the pro ability is I've upped it. I basically upgraded it to unlimited sprint and climb obstacles faster. So that way, once you've got this pro, which I think requires 40 miles of sprinting, which is quite a bit, but once you unlock that, you'll get unlimited sprint, which is, I wouldn't say overpowered, honestly. I mean, it is kind of annoying when people can run indefinitely with complete silence, with dead silence, but I mean, it takes quite a bit to get this. It's not like in Modern Warfare 2 when you had unlimited sprint with marathon on its own. So I don't think it would be overpowered. It would take work to get it, and I think it would be balanced. And then climb obstacles faster, we already have that there. So I think that would encourage people to use extreme conditioning a lot more, and that'd balance it out with the other ones. Now the final perk we have here is Scavenger. Now with Scavenger, this one's kind of tricky because in Modern Warfare 3, what they've done was in Black Ops you had your equipment slot and you had your lethals and your tacticals. Now equipment would be things like claymores and motion sensors and things like that, whereas you had lethals and tacticals. Now lethals would be like your grenades, your tomahawks, and your frag grenades or semtexes and that sort of stuff, and then tacticals being like flash grenades and stuff like that. But in Modern Warfare 3 they changed that and they mixed equipment with lethals and some of the equipment with tacticals, and it's just kind of mixed up. I don't really like it, honestly. But what they could do with this is keep the same regular ability, but for the pro ability you get extra starting magazines like you do with in-game, like it has already. But to fix that, to make it a bit more, I don't know what I could say, a bit stronger of a perk, is ability to resupply lethals and tacticals. Now when I say this, I'm not meaning like in Modern Warfare 3 lethals and tacticals, but like Black Ops lethals and tacticals. Therefore saying like, if I'm running Bouncing Betty and Portable Radar, the pro ability for Scavenger won't really help me. But if you're running something like Semtex and Flash Grenade, those things you can resupply because they're legit lethals and tacticals. I don't know if that's possible in the coding for Modern Warfare 3, but if they could do that, that'd be really cool. Because, I mean, I don't want to see like a Modern Warfare 2 where you can resupply your claymores. That was a big issue, and I didn't like that at all. It just encouraged camping way too much. But if they did this, where you could resupply grenades and stuff like that, I think that'd really balance out the perk. Now you can see here, we've got check mark next to all the perks, and that basically displays, so I think that'd balance the game out. And if they were to implement those things, I think that would balance it out so all these perks are equally used, except for Blind Eye, but you know what, that's just for shooting on air support. I don't think there's any other use for that perk. It is a legitimate perk, but I mean, I don't see any other purpose for it. I mean, it's useless unless they have air support up, so it is what it is. I think that's a pretty good balanced system right there. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you kind of agree with me what I've said here. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.